Hi children, come back to the class again. Our next subtopic is who will provide the labor? Who will provide the labor? In case of small farmers, generally the small farmers are having the small holdings, and for this reason their family members working in their field. But in case of a large farmer, they are hiring the labor for the cultivation when they are sowing season and harvesting season. In case of large farmers, medium farmers, they will hire the labor. But when they hiring the labor in the villages, most of the villages, the wage payment differ from one place to another place. So you can see the wages can be in cash or in kind. Means sometimes the big farmers, they are giving in cash, means in the monetary form, or sometimes they are also giving in kind. Sometimes they are giving the rice, vegetables, like that. They are paying their labor cost. Example, crop. Sometimes labor get crop from one farmer activity, and wages vary widely from one region to another region, from crop to crop, from one farm activity to another, like sowing and harvesting season. Means the wages that they are getting, the farmers or the farm laborers are getting, they differ from crop to crop, time to time, region to region. It is varies. Duration of time employed on a daily basis, or for one particular farm activity, or for the whole year. Sometimes in this employment of the duration of the time also differ from time to time. Some farmers, they got the employ in the daily basis. After their a lot of toiling of their hard labor, after the day they are getting the wages in terms of cash, or sometimes they are getting the in kind also. And for one particular farm activity, means in particular farm activity sowing season, then after harvesting season farm activity, or sometimes they are getting the work for the whole year also. So in such a duration of time also differ. The minimum wages for a farm laborer set by the government is 300 per day. Just I told, the picture I have shown, must have you have read that Dala and Ramkalli, they are talking about how they are difficult to get the work in the Palampur village. In that cases, Dala generally getting 160 rupees per day, whereas the government fixed wages are 300 per day. Means very much that 50% wages they are getting. Why it is happened in the Palampur village? And as per the conversation of Dala and Ramkalli, we can conclude that in the Palampur village, the landless labor, the farm laborers are more than that of the work. As we see, in the maximum big lands are in the hand of few big farmers. In case of a small farmer, those who are having the less than 2 hectare land also, sometimes after doing their own farm work, they are also going for the other land to do the work. So supply of farm labor is more in Palampur village than that of the work. So there is a very competition between the workers to get the work. So the farm laborer like Dala can agree to work with a 50% of wages in the Palampur village. In like that, in every Indian village having such type of competition between the farm laborers. Always the farm laborers are more than that of the work available in the villages. In that case, and some duration of the period when they are not getting the work, the maximum village landless labor or the farm laborer, they are migrating to the city and town area in search of the work. Supply of labor in Palampur is more than the work. Most labor observing sector of the Indian economy is the agriculture, where the maximum workers are working in the Indian economy. maximum workers are working in the agricultural sector. The capital needed in the farming, like that, who will provide labor? We are having the two cases in case of small farmer and the big and medium farmer. Like that, capital needed for farming. In case of a small farmer, how they are arranging capital which is required for their cultivation period, from sowing season to harvesting. Because the small farmer also, they have to go for the HI visits. They want the irrigation water, and they must not have their own pump set. At that time, they have to take loan from the big farmers or the traders, those who are supplying the inputs like the seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides. Before the cultivation, they must have taken from them all the inputs required for the agricultural purposes. For this reason, they are depending upon the big farmers and traders. When they are taking the loan for the big farmers and the traders, they are charging the high rate of interest, which is very difficult to pay. If the crop failure is there in case of a small farmer, they faces the difficulties. They are not able to pay back the loan to the big farmers. In that case, if it will run for the year after year, season after season, they come into the clutch of debt trap, from where it is impossible to come back. It is impossible to give back the loan to the big farmers. And due to this debt trap, in some cases, their few assets also they have to lose. In case of medium and large farmers, in contrast, what happened, medium and large farmers have their own savings because their holding is large. So their production is more, they sell in the market, they get the maximum profits, then they go for the savings. They go for the savings, they can purchase the fixed capital with that money. Sometimes they are giving loan to the small farmers. Again, the income is there by getting the interest from the small farmers. So in such a way, they arrange the capital from their farmings. The next question arises, where the sale of surplus farm products, where the the farmers of the village are selling their farm products. In case of a small farmers, sometimes they are having the few production which they are selling in the nearby village or the town, Raiganj and Sahabur. But the big farmers, they are also selling, their production is more, so they are selling in the big town, nearby big town or the far up places. So by selling that also they are getting the money. These are all about the farming activity of the Palampur village, and already we have discussed about the non-farm activity. But the Palampur village, like dairy farming, is the common non-farming activities, and transport is the first developing non-farming activities. The small scale industries, the cottage industries, the maximum Palampur village people are having, that is the production of jaggery, and they use the machines to produce, the crusher machines to produce the jaggery. Beside that, some people are engaged in the small shopkeeping. The variety of shops are there. Small shops are the retail shops near the bus stand, then the grocery shops or the different article shops where one can get each and everything in the Palampur village. So these are the some non-farm activities of the Palampur village. Or not only this is the non-farm activity of the Palampur village, it is the total village of the Indian village are comprises of these two production activities, that is the farm activity and non-farm activities. So how can one generate the more work, non-farm activities, production activities in the in the villages of the country? So you see, banks should be provide loans at low rate of interest so that the poor villagers can start some small scale business and can earn their livelihood. So in that case, the maximum bank and cooperative banks should come up and help the small farmers in the villages or the farmers of the villages, people of the villages who can take the loan in a low rate of interest and can start their own non-farm activities, small scale industry or cottage industry. Second, government should initiate effective employment generation schemes like computer training and vocational education. The government should give the vocational education by which the people of the villages can go for the self-employment opportunities. Then government should provide some schemes under which the maximum people can get the non-farm activities like the construction of the dam, construction of the roads, bridges, etc. Then programs of the villagers. Government should provide the transportation and selling of the locally manufactured goods of the villagers in the cities. By providing this help, transportation help, the government can create more job. The people can engage in the transportation activities. They can go for the driver activities in different villages. So these are the some way how we can generate more employment opportunities in the villages. Thank you, children. Stay at home and say thank you, thanks a lot to cooperate with me.